In this timeline, will Paragus be less of a jerk? Probably not, but he can try. Hey guys, MasakoX here. This tale is quite the peculiar one. It started off as a tale of what might happen if Frieza and Dr. Gero became a team, and would then use their combined efforts into fending off the Dragon Team. All this being crafted by a stranger in the shadows. And I think you probably know who this might be right now, but they are still mysterious towards the characters. Now though, with the two main leads gone, we had to change the name of this adventure to be more accurate and in keeping with the main focus. So now we continue with the son of Gero's droid and how he would meet Broly, and together they would become epic bros. In the last part, Paragus and Vegeta met after the latter had been revived after the initial encounter with Gero and Frieza, which went disastrously wrong. However, this isn't the big bone of contention here, no. Babidi has made an appearance a fair bit earlier than in the original story, and our heroes are going through his cave of critters before we then get to the inevitable conclusion with a Vegeta knocking around being all malevolent towards a much weaker father of Broly. Where does this go? Well, let's resume. Paragus is still unhappy that Prince Vegeta is still alive, but at this point he can't really do much about it since the gap in power between them is just far too great. The recent attack of the monsters is thought to be the stranger's own doing, and that wasn't that bad. It wasn't the stranger, as we know, obviously. But Goku suggests that he would have one more training session in the time chamber to be sage, this time enraging both Vegeta and Paragus. Broly wants to go and train with Kakarot, but Paragus is really close to using his collar against him, only to discover that it doesn't work anymore.
This was your doing, wasn't it, you piece of junk? Broly might go out of control in there! You haven't seen what he can do in that form! I put it on him to protect everyone, including him! What's coming might be much worse than his fury attacks, and he won't be satisfied with one planet. You won't be able to hide, father. We need him.
Paragus looks at everyone and smashes the remote.
I will not be a part of such a farce! Damn you all!
He says and angrily flies off. This saddens Broly greatly. He wants to go after his father, but 16 stops him.
Give him time.
But this separation is a great opportunity for Babidi. He waits for Paragus to get back to Frieza's ship, then along with some of his remaining minions, he jumps the father of Broly and uses his magic to twist him and turn him into a Majin.
You will have your revenge, little Saiyan, but you need to help me to wake something powerful first.
Yes, I will do that, Master. Though I have to say that it is not you, not me, that is of the shortest step.
Silence! I will give you the coordinates. I need a lot of energy to be produced there. Someone has provided me with much better options than I previously had.
Babidi points at several small devices that look like their purpose is to be put in the ground, and Paragus knows just the person who will be able to generate a lot of energy for the tiny wizard. Meanwhile, Goku and Broly are training in the time chamber, and Broly is pretty, well, reluctant to use his force against Goku. He seems weaker and more clumsy than usual, but Goku can definitely see he's holding back.
Hey, Broly, you don't need to go easy on me, buddy. I can take it.
I don't want to lose control, Kakarot. I may do bad things when I do.
Well, this is going to be hard, as Goku has to try and find a way for Broly to open up for his own potential to improve himself. Meanwhile, 16 agrees to visit Dr. Bruce and Bulma so they can perform some tests on him. They are surprised to discover the device inside of him, although he does state that it was pretty routine and a standard affair for his father's designs, and that he does intend to only use it in an emergency. Having learnt this, his new friends manage to give him some upgrades, and as he shares some of his memories with them, they are then able to try and pinpoint the exact image of the mysterious stranger. She takes this picture to the lookout to meet with the rest of the crew. Vegeta, Dende and Trunks are on the lookout when they are approached by Shin and Kibito, who are pretty shocked as they had just received a cloaked image that seems scarily similar to the hooded being that they just saw. Yep, they think Shin is the mysterious stranger. Hardly. Obviously, the fight starts and Shin needs to go on the defensive, trying to explain that he isn't the one that they think he is. As Vegeta and Trunks are finished with their training in the time chamber, they are able to hold their own against Shin. Finally, Kamikolo is the one that rushes in, and through King Kai is able to convince the group that Shin is the Supreme Kai and has no ill will or intent against our heroes. Meanwhile, Yamcha, Tenshinhan and Krillin are trying to improve on their own training, as they know that the present power gap will become a problem. Piccolo calls them all to the lookout, where Shin explains the whole Babidi and Majin Buu situation, but is rather surprised by the stranger and his revelation. He had no idea who this person was. He speculates that it might have been a Makaio Shin impersonating him, as no Kai could ever possibly go rogue. They were made to be pure and just. And this worries Shin, as the possibility of Babidi joining forces with someone more powerful than Frieza is pretty scary. Meanwhile, Goku has found a way to get through to Broly. He convinces him to defend instead of attack, trying to focus on his own moves, and don't you know it, Broly begins to adapt. Not only that, but the more they fight, the harder it is for Goku to even lay a punch on the guy, and he is just in his base form, not even Super Saiyan. While Goku is approaching him at the angle of a mastered Super Saiyan, he finally managed to get it. During this bonding with his new friend, Broly starts to feel more relaxed and finally learns to accept the training, finding a lot of joy in fact in discovering new ways in how to react to Goku's moves. As they finish said training, Goku is at a similar level to what he was before the Cell games, with Broly being now an impenetrable wall. They get immediately introduced to Shin and Kibito, no argy-bargy here, with Vegeta pulling Trunks into the time chamber for another go. Meanwhile, our heroes get a distress call from Paragus. He apparently got hurt, which distresses Broly greatly, understandably, and he goes to find his father. They find Paragus unscathed, but don't notice the strange devices that are buried in the ground around them. Paragus has some kind of strange M symbol on his forehead, and he then starts to bizarrely taunt his own son.
After all these years of me caring for you, you've decided to betray me. Maybe King Vegeta was right all along. Maybe you are a freak.
Broly is understandably confused and upset.
Father, something's wrong. This isn't you. Oh, but it is me. I can finally see clearly. I should have never risked so much for you. If it wasn't for you, I would not have been stuck on that blasted planetoid for so many years. Wasted.
He's hoping for his son to rage out and destroy everything, but contrary to his hopes, Broly's not angry. He's just getting sad, and Paragus can see now that his progeny blames himself, not his father. This isn't working. Paragus feels inside that, actually, this is wrong. It isn't how he should be speaking to Broly. Babidi's initial emotional stranglehold is starting to loosen.
Broly,
he says, slowly shaking off the hypnosis.
You have to get out of here.
His tirade gets interrupted as one of the remaining minions of Babidi snipes him through the chest. This does the trick. Broly gets absolutely furious and turns Super Saiyan. The state of affair might look pretty grim for our heroes, as Goku and the Kais are now trying to calm the giant down. It takes a long time to do so, and it almost decimates Goku and the two Kais, but suddenly, 16 jumps into the fray. He is sadly overwhelmed though, and Broly manages to wreck him, including ripping off one of his arms, but 16 stands firm, not feeling any pain.
You are my friend, Broly. You are better than this.
Shocked by his own power, and for having hurt his best friend, Broly shakes off his rage. He is emotionally broken. His father is gone, and not only that, he almost did the same thing to his friend. He doesn't have much time to dwell on this though, as Babidi activates the last device, the one that his troops used during the attack of his minions into the ground, and all the energy gathered from Broly's fight starts to pump into the ground, thusly revealing the sealed ball, and Majin Buu is free. Now, of course, at first, most of our heroes overestimate the pink blob, which ends in another beat down for Goku. Broly decides that he has no time to cry, and that he has to defend his friends. He goes Super Saiyan once more, and Buu is actually taking a heavy beating, but it seems to be having fun. Broly also notices that it is Babidi who is trying to force it to attack everyone. The Saiyan has a plan. Hey, do you actually listen to that little guy?
Buu served him! He made Buu free!
You're not a bad guy. I can tell.
What does bad admin?
Broly decides to now try and play it safe, and instead of attacking Buu anymore, he instead rounds on Babidi and easily takes him out, amusing Buu immensely.
Haha! Potato Mango, bye-bye!
Shin and Kibito are unsure about the strategy. It seems too easy. Broly assures them that he can keep Buu in check. He knows what he thinks, and after all, Goku had taught him how to control his feelings. He then asks Buu to be his friend. 16 too can see where this is going, and he also decides to join the trio. The biggest losers in all of this seem to be Trunks and Vegeta, and that's because they arrived late. Mr. Buu then gets his house on the planet like in the original, living alongside Broly, who has promised that his father will be resurrected with the next wish on the Dragon Balls. After Babidi's botched attempt to take over the universe, peace has now returned amongst our heroes. Despite this quiet period though, with still no word from the mysterious stranger, you would think that the Saiyans would try and take a load off for a little bit, but that's quite far from the truth. Even future Trunks decides to prolong his stay in the present so they can prepare for what might be coming. It's okay because he can go back to the same time that he left, and now he would be even more powerful. Those androids, when he gets back, they won't know what hit them. It has become clear though that Broly is currently their biggest asset. In order to get the biggest gains possible, Vegeta, Trunks, Piccolo, Gohan and Goku train as much as they can, so they can let Broly relax and not rely on him too much, and that's why they go to Yardrat, just like the humans did, to complete their training. Meanwhile, Broly and the others are tasked with guarding Earth, and Buu. Surprisingly, Buu is pretty tame and friendly when given his way. If you have enough food, you're fine. 16 has taught him ways to relax, including acquiring an appreciation for nature and a love for animals. The three seem to have a firm understanding of one another, though Broly is still awaiting the day when his father would be revived. Still, he doesn't hold it against his new friends. Broly is indeed aware that his father wasn't exactly grateful for all of their help. He had been quite nasty, in fact. Krillin, Tenshinhan and Yamcha visit the three gentle giants sometimes, but both Broly and 16 have softened the Earthlings enough to be more open towards Buu. They've got him covered. Buu likes the concept of having more friends, and is very fond of playing the imitation game with Puar, as they both are trying to do their best Yamcha. One day though, when the Earthlings are away doing errands, they get visited by a Kai, who introduces himself as an aide to Shin. He says that the three of them and Broly have been summoned by the Supreme Kai, as there's trouble going down on the sacred world of the Kais. Our heroes agree to help without question, with the newly met Kai transporting the group to the right spot. They find the sacred world totally ravaged. What's even weirder is that their new ally has just disappeared. Where did he go? They decided to make their own investigation, being a little bit creeped out of what they might find. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the mysterious Kai then visits Buu and 16. The android is confused as to why he came back without his friends. He doesn't have much time to think because a huge wave of energy ravages his systems, making him fall to the ground. 16's mechanical body is now suddenly failing, which causes great distress for Buu. Buu tries to save his friend, but you cannot heal that, can you? It is but a machine, just a mortal contraption. It doesn't have a soul or reason to exist. Buu is getting angrier and angrier the more he fails to fix his friend, who is slowly shutting down, urging him to warn the others. Buu is now too enraged to listen and releases a cloud of smoke that becomes Evil Buu. The evil Kai distracts innocent Buu enough for Evil Buu to consume him and assume total control. Having now manifested itself, Super Buu is now really confused.
Why you help Buu? Speak, before Buu turns you into chocolate, green Kai man.
I heard stories of your power, Almighty Buu. Pure divine chaos. I salute you. I think we may have something in common. 16 is still functioning enough, barely, to use the rest of his power to send a distress signal to Capsule Corp. This causes the Kai to then decapitate him with a keyblade with very little consideration. As I was saying, I believe we might have a common goal. My name is ZAMASU, and I would like to help you with your venture.
Then, what?
Would you like to blow things up, Majin Buu? The monster then grins menacingly. Meanwhile, on the sacred world of the Kais, our heroes find a motionless Shin and Kibito who seems to be barely alive. the attendant was able to escape ultimate destruction and tells them about ZAMASU, who seemingly was from another universe. What? Questions for later. They panicked when Shin spotted his time ring though. They decide to take Kibito to Buu in order for him to heal him, though Kibito is still able to muster enough of his own power to do the teleportation skills so they can get back to Earth immediately. Meanwhile, Krillin gets to Yardrat to warn the Saiyans and Piccolo about the threat. It might be time. What they find causes Broly great distress as they discover that the nearby landscape had been utterly decimated, with Buu's house included and 16's remains. Broly now goes berserk and starts to add to the destruction. It takes a long moment and some of his Yardratian spirit control training for Tenshinhan to get through to him.
Broly, we need to focus. We cannot avenge 16 if we don't know who did it.
Broly is able to snap out of it just in time, because our heroes are able to find Buu, who is testing out his new powers on a nearby village. Broly is rather shocked to see that creature, resembling his friend, working together with an evil Kai. They fight against each other, and much to ZAMASU's shock, the Saiyan is seemingly getting the advantage over the creature. Moreover, Tenshinhan spots that the Kai is nervously looking at his ring. Perhaps if they got that ring and destroyed it. When it becomes clear that the fight is much closer than the Kai anticipated, ZAMASU throws his earring at Super Buu.
What is Buu supposed to do with this? Eat it?
Put it on your ear or whatever it is, you fool. And so, before Broly can charge up an attack, something happens. An explosion of truly evil, chaotic energy. The creature that comes out of it is a proper monstrosity, dubbed Bumasu. Splendid! I was able to dominate this oaf's mind. Now, I have a stable link to this timeline, and I can finally enact my revenge! Bumasu is completely unhinged and dominates Broly. For the first time in his life, someone beats him up to a pulp, and if it weren't for Yamcha's quick action, he would have been done. Yamcha decides to take him to Yardrat, much to everyone's shock. They were just about to leave, in fact. Tenshinhan, however, decides not to fight. Instead, he uses his power to evacuate Dende, Bulma, and everyone close to the Dragon Team and get them away from Earth. They cannot save everyone right now, however, as Bumasu then just blows up the planet with a ball of purple aura, laughing like a madman. This is the stranger. This was his plan, and they lost. What's even worse is that he'll be heading for Yardrat now. But that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? Can our heroes beat that chaotic monstrosity? How will this fusion work as opposed to merged ZAMASU? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going, and I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!